Well, good morning, Kelowna, Penticton, and Victoria. It's wonderful to be with you this morning with the Garden Show. Got a very special guest with us today, and I'll introduce him in a moment. But we got Ken Salvale on assignment, and so he's calling in by the magic of the telephone. Bell telephone. Bell. Alexander Graham Bell enabled Ken to call into the show today. Morning, Ken.
Good morning, Don and everyone. It's a lovely morning. As usual, August is one of my favorite months because of these nice, cool mornings. It's just fabulous.
Well, we always say that on the Garden Show. It's like August is my favorite. We get into September. September is my favorite month, and then May is my favorite month. They're all favorites, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I know what you mean, Ken. I'm not trying.
Well, in those nights that drop off, the temperatures start to drop at night, and that just cools everything down.
Yeah.
And makes it that much nicer.
Yeah.
And you enjoy the afternoon heat.
We went through some time there in July where it was pretty blistering hot. Let's start off the show with the tips and plants of the week.
You betcha.
My tip of the week is this. Don't let your annual weeds go to seed. I do this about 3 times a year, Ken. 1 year's seeding is 7 years weeding. So just, I noticed the other day where there was a new parking lot put up on Pandosy across from the hospital that is KGH folks there. And they were out there weeding, and the big, huge pigweed and all that stuff, thistles and everything, they were yanking those out. Well, good job, because don't let the annual weeds go to seed or you're going to have trouble. My plant of the week is one that Ken had a group. He did the Hydrangea group a while back. This is I just went past a yard, Ken, and saw 2 beautiful PG hydrangeas, and I've taken pictures of them. They are 9 feet tall. 9 feet tall and about 9 feet wide. They're just huge and full blooms and healthy as horses. It was great. That's my plant of the week.
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, well, I also have a tip and a plant, and my tip of the week is that now as these night temperatures start to cool off, you will get a bit of a showing of powdery mildew on different plants. And so because of that, when we get into August, we want to get out and do our spritzing of the baking soda and water mixture to cover the plants where you don't want the mildew to show up, especially zucchinis and other types of plants that tend to be prone to that issue. So if you beat it, go ahead of it, get the baking soda and water onto the plants, about 1 teaspoon per half a liter of water, and that will give you a little bit of protection and prevent that mildew from setting in. All right, now my plant of the week this week is the Phlox Davidii, the beautiful white summer phlox that is one of the best garden plants you can get. It's just unbelievable color through end of July, through the month of August and into September. It's just a beauty, and it's one of those plants that's an absolute treat to have in the garden and one of my all-time favorites. Well, that's my tips and plants for this week. Remember to check growercoach.com and Grower Coach on YouTube.
Thank you, Ken. It's amazing how we, all these years we've been together on the show, on the Garden Show, and we've never had the same plant of the week and never had the same tip of the week. And we don't coerce, we don't get together beforehand and work that out. But we both had beautiful white summer blooming plants today, so that's as close as it gets, eh?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. And white is really the brightest color in the garden, and it's something that I think sometimes people forget that. They'll get all different colors there. But I remember just having the what I would call the lowly Shasta daisy, which is, very common perennial and in many gardens. But wow, you can see that thing blooming from a mile away. Just gorgeous, bright white color, and it's really hard to beat when the Shastas are in bloom. And it just goes to show you how bright white can be. It's got to be the brightest color in the garden.
You bet, Ken. And then I got the Montauk daisy coming on this fall.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too.
Ken, we've got a great guest today, and he's a close friend of ours. He's developed a friendship with you as well. Started at CKOV here in Kelowna around 1961 when he was still in high school. Seafund, Vancouver, then in 64 to 67, music columnist for the Vancouver Sun in the mid-60s, CKLG in Vancouver, boss jock 1967 to 70, CKVN Vancouver 70 to 73, CKLG Vancouver 73 to 75, and he was a longtime announcer at the H.R. McMillan Planetarium in Vancouver. CKST Langley, CHRX Vancouver. Hey, he's been in so many radio stations, he could probably map them out. John Tanner is with us, an old Kelowna boy, and folks in Victoria and Penticton. Everybody will recognize John from the airwaves back in the day. And John, it's great to have you here, and it's great to have our friendship carry on this long.
Well, yes, and thank you so much, Don, for the invite. And good morning, Ken. I miss seeing you across the table. But
yeah.
And now, as you and Don will be, and good morning, everyone listening, as Don and Ken will be getting you to look down at the ground, I will be inviting you to look up at the sky and see meteors and maybe some aurora and anything else that happens to be flying around.
Yeah, I failed to mention that John is an avid into not astrology, astronomy. You know, it's terrible to get those two mixed up.
Oh, it is.
It's awful because astronomy is not astrology. Astronomy. And so Sunday night, what's going on?
What's your sign?
My sign, I barely remember, but I'm an airhead.
Okay. Yes. Now, what was the question?
So the question was, we got something going on. We've got something going on Sunday night in the skies. Now,
yes.
Is Victoria going to see it too?
Oh, yes. The whole planet will see. Well, not the whole planet because it'll be daytime for them. But, yes, meteors flying across the sky. This happens every August, the Perseid meteor shower. And there's some talk there might be some aurora at the time. This is hard to tell because the coronal mass ejections from the sun, you can't time them exactly when they're going to hit our atmosphere. But
so what is a meteor shower? I mean, it's not like a rain shower. It's
no, it sort of looks that way sometimes. Well, you know, it's usually a leftover from a comet that's gone around the solar system. These are periodic comets, so every so many years they show up too, but they leave a trail of debris behind them, so we go through that trail once a year. Well, there's numerous showers, but the Perseids once a year. And it can be in successive nights. It actually is quite a few weeks before and after there's actual Perseids flying around.
Yeah.
But the night of August 11th and the night of the morning of the 12th, and they're saying now even the night of the 12th, there could be meteors too happening in a little more profusion than the ones the weeks before and after. So we're hoping for clear skies. It looks like there might be cloud, but it seems to be we start off clear skies in the morning, and then the thunderheads build in the afternoon. So we'll keep an eye.
If you ever wish upon a falling star, tonight would be the night to do it. No, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Yes.
Tomorrow night would be the night to do it. It's exciting. And, John, it's great. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but we've got Dave on line, too. Good morning, Dave. How are you this morning?
Yeah, not too bad. Do you do vegetables?
We do vegetables. Yes, we do.
Okay. I'm potatoes. They're big enough already, and I don't really want to, if I don't have to, dig them out yet because then I got to worry about storage. So Are they okay left in the ground yet for another month or so?
Yes and no. If there is insect issues going on down there, or like the flea beetle issues or any kind of issues, that leaves them open to damage from those by leaving them in the ground. If you want, so I would dig a few, see how they look. If they look clean, you don't have any flea beetle damage, which is the most common thing, where the beetles. Larva digs into the potato, so you have this network of tiny tunnels just under the skin of the potato. If they see none of that, they can stay in the ground for a while. Ken, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's exactly what I worry about. Is I worry about something coming in like a grub of some sort or a wireworm or something getting into the potatoes. So if the potato plant itself is finished, some of the determinate varieties are going to be just wilting off at this time of year. And the potatoes are okay in the ground, but they are subject to consumption by a certain insect. So my inclination is to try to harvest them, and they will last very nicely out of the ground, and storing them for maybe a month or so wouldn't be, I don't think, a big deal. That depends how many you have. But you always take a bit of a risk leaving it in the ground.
The only thing I noticed on them is, I don't know what you'd call it, but just on the skin, it's not totally clean and smooth. They're what would you call it?
Well, some potato varieties have a russet on them. However, there is a problem that can occur called scab, potato scab.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
does that go deep or just on the surface?
The scab is pretty well, you can peel it off. What goes deep, when you peel the potato and you see these little dots, these network of tiny tunnels, that's your flea beetle. And sometimes people confuse it with scab.
Okay.
But you can send for my sheet on both of those, potato flea beetle and scab, if you email me, and I can send you a sheet.
Does scab get worse if I left it in for a couple more weeks?
Yes.
And also, because I'm not going to be home, I'm coming to the Okanagan for a few weeks, so I didn't want to dig them up yet. But
no.
If I don't dig them up, should I water them yet one more time, or water doesn't matter? I don't want them to really grow.
I don't. How's the foliage look right now?
Oh, it's kind of green.
Like looking
green,
good,
yeah.
Still healthy?
Yeah.
You might give them a soaking before you leave, I guess, because they'll hold quite well after you leave for that while. But as Ken said, and as I alluded to, you are taking a risk of something coming in there. It might even be a four-legged thing, like a pocket gopher or something like that. But anyway, just keep that in mind. You might want to harvest some of them before you go, at least, and so you got something to come back to. Okay?
Oh, yeah, I'll be bringing a few for the kids.
Well, there you go. Bring a few for me, too. I love potatoes with garlic.
Oh, yeah, I just harvested my garlic there a week ago.
Yeah.
Turned out pretty good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I appreciate your call. We're going to have to take a break here, but welcome to the Okanagan when you get here.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Good, buddy. Take care. We're going to have to take a break. We will be back with the Garden Show after this short break. Okay, Ken's going to bless us with his time for the next, till the bottom of the hour here, and then we're going to be on our own, John. It'll just be you and me. We'll have Dan phone in, but it's wonderful to be here every week. And Ken, I don't want to tell you to your face because you get all headstrong, but you are one of the best guys I've ever met in our industry. Hardworking and very knowledgeable. I knew that the moment I sat down and talked to you when you were looking for work back when you were in your early 20s.
When I was just a kid?
No, you were just a kid when I met you, and I was an old man of about 35.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Don. That's very kind words, and it's been a great journey. They say life's a journey, not a destination, and that's one of the things I think that in the gardening world, it's kind of fun because as you go, you get to grow food and you get to learn about the insects and the plants and the soils and all that good stuff. It's definitely an interesting industry to be in, that's for sure. And
when I say to them, "Are you a gardener?" and they, "No." Do you have a potted plant? Yeah. Well, you're a gardener. I mean, whatever. If you don't touch plants, you're not a gardener. However, driving around, Ken, and you notice this too. You can go buy a property that just blows your mind, and you go, I know that person has put a heck of a lot of effort into that property. It doesn't just happen by magic. Unless you hire a gardener, but most often people do this on their own. And that's what happened. That was my plant of the week. I drove by this property up in West Kelowna, and I just had to stop and take pictures because these hydrangeas were just sticking out. And she had a beautiful display of annuals and color, and it was nicely flowed, laid out nicely with the, it wasn't a mishmash of things. It was very, very, very cool. And I stopped, and I never go and take pictures in people's yards without at least knocking on their door and telling them I'm doing that, because they're going, who is this outside taking pictures? So I stopped and we talked. We had a nice chat. And maybe she's listening to the garden show, because I gave her my card and it has the garden show stuff on there. So if you are listening, ma'am, just thank you very much for the little tour of your garden, and I appreciate the fact that you've given us our plants of the week this week.
Yeah, there you go. Right?
So Ken, you're very busy right now. You do a lot of planting. You're one of many, many landscapers in Kelowna. But I'm telling you, you have something that I would say, I'm gonna stick my head out here, my neck out, and say 85% of the landscapers in town aren't plant oriented. I'm saying 85% because I deal with so many of them, and plants aren't their passion. Their passion is building walls, is building patios, is laying out, curbs. Construction. That's there's two separate parts of landscaping. Is the construction end of things and the plant end of things. And what's happened? I've done a lot of consulting actually this July and now into August with properties where there's new landscaping, and they're having death and destruction on some of the trees and shrubs. Now, I always tell people these trees and shrubs were in nurseries from 2 years to 15 years in nurseries, and in 3 weeks they die. There's something going on here. And it's just simply water. It's water, Dad used to come out to our landscape jobs and get the water on these plants. Come on, what's wrong with you guys? Because we're, especially in the Okanagan here, it's a desert, and you have to get the water on those newly planted shrubs.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we sometimes forget about, is that just because a plant is sitting in a nursery and it gets watered every single night, it gets a heavy watering to make sure that the whole root ball is thoroughly soaked. And then each day it goes through. It's got that very limited root zone in the pot, so it's totally reliant on people to bring the water to it. And then, of course, you take that plant home and plant it in the ground. Well, it's not going to establish into that surrounding soil for at least 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the situation. But still, that's a long period of time. It still needs the water every day. Yeah. And that's just the way it goes, especially in the heat of the Okanagan, as you've mentioned. If you're in different climates where the temperatures are more mild and not as extreme as they are here, well, you can get away with maybe, say, every second day watering, but still those potted plants are designed to dry out regularly because they're also designed to be watered every day. And so, do yourself a favor and keep a close eye on any of those newly planted plants. One of
the best tools that a landscape crew can have is a nice long water hose, because I see so often installations done. They get the plants all in, and it's stifling hot out. They get the plants in, and then they turn on the trickle system to water the plants. You've got to water them in properly, and that goes for homeowners. But I'm kind of telling this to some of the landscapers out there because, like I say, about 85% of them are not plant-oriented. That's the one thing I must say, Ken, your operation, you are plant-oriented. You know your plants. You know what they need. You don't treat them like fence posts like a lot of them do. And you've got proper soil conditions and that sort of thing to think. Sustainable landscaping is really what you do, and I appreciate that very much.
Well, thanks, Don. It's a situation where it just helps tremendously. If I was in the mechanic business and I didn't know anything about mechanics, I'd be in a tough spot, right? Or if I was if I was a furnace repair guy and I didn't know anything about furnaces, I'd have a bit of an issue. But in the plant business, I mean, if you don't know anything about plants, it's a little bit challenging, right? And I find that the same with irrigation, is with sometimes irrigation companies just don't really know much about plants. So how do they know how to irrigate them, right? So nothing against them. They're often very, very skilled and very talented, when it comes to irrigation. But how much water does that plant actually need, or how much water does this planting need? Depending on the type of soil that you have and the type of plants that you're growing. So, there's a lot of factors to take. There
is, Ken, and it's a startup. Really, is the most critical time with a plant in a plant's life is getting it going, and that's and then once it's established, it's a little less problematic to keep them healthy. But to get them going is the main thing. Ken, it's really great that you're having a little bit of a break here. I don't know if you know this, but next week I'm down at the coast.
Okay. Well, there you go. So we'll swap out. We'll tag team.
We're trading off, and I do have a set of keys now, and if you know what I mean.
Everything is good.
Okay. Yeah. Ken, thank you for calling in and during your break here, and you have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, thanks very much, Don. Nice to talk to you, John, and we'll hopefully see you all again soon.
Yes, next year, hopefully, Ken. All right.
Yeah, next time you're in the valley. All right. Yep. You guys take care.
You betcha. Take care, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And on that note, we're going to take a short break. We've probably got Dan Bruce going to be calling in pretty soon here, which is great. We'll have a little chat with him. But just a quick note here before we take our break. We've got about a minute here. John and I both lost, in the past couple of weeks here, we've lost a close friend, Pamela Burge, who was a famous, very popular and well-known DJ back in the day, when she was Tim Burge, and she transitioned to a female in 1992, somewhere in there.
Yes, early 90s.
Early 90s. Interesting, wonderful, colorful person, and she just passed away at Cottonwoods the last couple of weeks here. And John, I know you're going to miss her because you were with Pam right from the beginning of the careers.
Yes, the very early days when Pam was the nice older person on the radio back in CKLG and numerous stations in Vancouver. Yes, we will miss her dulcet tones and her wit and knowledge of music and the business.
Well, yeah, the knowledge of music is amazing. We had a little contest in our backyard every once in a while. We have this old hit parade thing going on one of the TV channels, and she was batting about 90% by saying who sung it and who and what the name of the song was and who performed it and who wrote it. That kind of thing. Very knowledgeable. So so John and I just want to mention that we've lost a friend, and it's the way things are in life. And we had a nice get together on Wednesday with Pam's daughter Erin and her son-in-law Josh. Had a great get together there. We're going to take a short break. It's the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a short break. We got Dan Bruce on the line, I think, waiting to talk to us, and we'll be back with The Garden Show after this short break. Well, we are talking with John Tanner today. He's our guest on, every summer he comes to visit, and we have had a great conversation. But we got a huge conversation coming up with him because I've just learned a few things about this shower coming up, this meteor shower that's coming up, right? It's a meteor shower?
It's a meteor shower.
A meteor shower. Okay, we're going to talk about that. But we've got Dan Bruce on the line. Dan, how are you doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing really well. It's nice and cool this morning.
It is.
Opened up all the doors and the windows. And,
yep.
So one thing that's going on around here that isn't so good is that the deer population has increased.
I know, and you've got a couple of good dogs, good watchdogs, but you're saying that the deers are so quiet that the dogs don't hear them.
Well, that's the fact, and I've suggested to Winkin that he sleep outdoors, and he rejected that.
He's an indoor dog. There you go.
Anyway, the deer seem to have a liking for roses and also mountain ash.
Very much mountain ash, yes.
Mountain ash isn't such a problem because it gets big and they can't reach it.
Mm-hmm.
But roses are a problem. Now, I got 3 roses this spring from Robin Denning in Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
And I planted them within easy view of the bedroom window. The deer don't go for any rose. They're selective. And I've discovered that a number of roses here, particularly species ones, wild species roses, they don't seem to touch.
Mm-hmm.
But the Rosalind rose that I got from Robin has been hard hit. And the Chloe rose, which is one that he raised himself, that has also been attacked. So, in order to get to these roses, the deer have to walk right by Rosa richardi, which they haven't touched.
Interesting.
They haven't touched Rosa roxburghi either.
And that makes sense. Like Ken has one hydrangea that he recommends that deer don't seem to chew on. Something you mentioned to me when we were having a visit the other day, you mentioned WD-40.
Well, I've tried WD-40 on the Rosalind rose, which is the worst.
The one they're really after.
And what I did is I sprayed WD-40 on the ground around the rose.
Right.
And it seems to have worked because the new growth on the roses has not been touched.
Good old WD-40, boy! It's
WD-40.
We use it for so many things.
Well,
it was an amazing invention.
They say if it's supposed to move and it won't, then WD-40, and if it's moving and it shouldn't, then duct tape.
That's right. That's right.
Well, but WD-40 has quite a strong odor.
It's an odor, yeah. Yep.
And I don't think that they like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been told that deer don't like Irish Spring soap.
Right.
Which I don't blame them.
Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, they used to make these little sachets of soap to keep deer off. But my friend Jack has the answer, the full answer, Dan, and I don't know if you've heard Jack on the radio telling us about his formulation of eggs mixed up in with eggs and milk. I think I've got the formula somewhere, and then he sits it out in the sun and lets it rot, and then sprays it. And of course, the neighbors love him for it. It's quite a wafting through the neighborhood, but he has no deer problems. He has no friends either, but he has no deer problems.
No. Maybe we should have a random deer hunting in the next Olympics.
Oh, yeah, there we go. We could do that. Look at Dan. You mentioned they jump.
If you bring back the head.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we got to be careful about that. This is a garden show here, but look at. You mentioned they actually jump over your 6 foot. Is it 5 foot or 6 foot hit?
Well, my chain link fence around the property is 5 foot.
5 feet, and they just leap over it like it was
that's to a deer. That's nothing whatever.
Nothing.
I mean, I literally watched a deer at Nicola Ranch clear an 8 foot chain link fence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, she wanted out, and she got out, but watching this deer flat out approaching the fence, oh no, we're going to have a wreck. But she cleared it.
And she got over.
She got over it.
Amazing. That's, it's an amazing thing to see the agility and the bounciness of deer. But they have been the bane of gardeners in the past little while here, especially in the Okanagan. Certain areas of the Okanagan neighborhoods are bad. You've had deer there for quite a while, but they finally discovered your yard.
Well, we hope they're going to change their mind, but I think I'm going to persist with the WD-40 thing and see. Because, like I said, it's not every rose.
Yeah.
There's several of them that are not touched.
Dan, we're going to have to go here. We've got more things to talk about. We're talking about now. You get out there on Sunday night and when it's dark and watch for the meteor shower that's happening. John Tanner's with me, and he's going to tell us all about what makes. Do you know, Dan, that some of those showers, the meteor showers, the size of the actual material coming is the size of a grain of sand.
It
it blew my mind when he told me that. So we're going to learn more about it as the show goes on. But thank you for calling in, buddy, and we will hear from you again next week.
Yes, you will.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Yeah, John. Okay, so you're saying to me that when you look up and you see this meteor shower coming in, that every one of those falling stars that we sit there and wish with our lovers and everything, and wish upon us falling star, that's just a grain of sand?
Basically the size of a grain of sand that you find on the beach. And maybe you see a bigger one, which we call fireballs or bolides. Hello, Dr. Bolide, if you're listening. And they are maybe the size of a peanut. So, no, they're not big. They're not like asteroids that are crashing in to destroy dinosaurs or anything like that. These are very small particles.
Interesting. It comes to my thinking that when you've got the space station up there and everything, how much danger is that in with all these little particles?
They're not usually. They're usually higher than the space station, so they don't worry about that so much. The space station has to worry more about debris of satellites and satellite pieces that have, and there have been some satellites, and they suspect some countries were testing out satellites to see if they could hit other satellites that they'd put up to see if they could use them, I don't know, for whatever nefarious reason. So all this stuff, junk and bits of debris that aren't part of the spacecraft, or they were a result of them colliding, they can be a danger. So they have over the years had to lower or raise the altitude of ISS in orbit so that it would protect them, and in cases they move the astronauts to a certain part of the space station where it's a bit safer for them. But, it's something they're constantly monitoring to make sure that they're not hit.
You get hit with something like that, it can be catastrophic.
Well, it can be just a pinhole, but that's all you need to start losing your air, which is very important.
Right. It's amazing what's going on right now up in the skies. So this meteor shower that we're going to see Sunday night, when's the best? You were saying the peak is actually when it's still light in the morning, isn't it?
Yes. Well, you can't time these things out. They're just the way nature works. So it just so happens the peak of the shower, when we calculate that most of the debris will be hitting us, will be actually Monday morning between about 6 and 9 o'clock.
So we can't see grains of sand.
No, you can't see a meteor during the daytime. So that's why we're saying that the night when we're saying Sunday night, it's the best time to be observing is after midnight, because there's a quarter moon in the sky and it will set at midnight. So there won't be as much ambient light to disrupt the viewing of fainter meteors. Yeah. So after midnight, one astronomer here in the Sky and Telescope magazine was saying he's going to set his alarm for 2 a.m. He's going to get up then and look. So you've got to be, a pretty excited person and really devout astronomer to do that sort of thing, So the general public, you may go out there, when it starts getting dark and maybe stay up till 1 or 2, but then you want to hit the sack, so you may not see as many, but you may only see 50 an hour. Who knows? You can see up to 100 an hour, but that peak time, again, is daylight. So then again, Monday night, your chances as soon as it gets dark is to see residual meteors that will be going over then. So we got 2 nights there to get out and look around at least.
We got to take a break, and we do invite your calls. 250-862-2525 to get through to us here locally. 1-888-780-4273 if you're calling long distance. It's a free charge, no charge for that. And we're going to talk gardening. We're going to talk meteor showers and other astronomical things when we come back with the Garden Show after this short break. We're back with you, and we're going to go straight to the phone lines because we have Leslie calling in from Victoria. Good morning, Leslie, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm the one that called about the bobex for the deer.
Yes. And you spray, yeah, you're right. We got to mention that again. You sprayed it right in the face of the deer.
That's correct. And they have not been back since.
They're smarter than I thought.
Yeah, well, I'm on guard here. I'm outside at the bath watching. But no, there's been no sign of them, no sign of droppings or anything like that. So
beautiful.
Yeah, I suggest it strongly. It's good for rabbits, too.
Yeah, if you can get up to close enough to the deer, spray him in the nose with bobex. And it won't hurt the deer. It won't hurt the deer, but it'll keep them away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's great.
There you go. So I hope they have success.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that information.
I enjoy your show immensely.
Well, we enjoy having you with us. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
What was the substance she sprayed on?
Bobex. Bobex is a deer repel. You spray it on your plants.
Right.
And it's basically just a mixture of herbs and spices and hot stuff and whatever. It's not going to hurt the deer.
No.
But
discourage them.
Yeah. Leslie said for Victoria, the deer were getting so friendly and so, she just sprayed it right in the face of the deer. They've never come back.
What a shock for the deer.
Yeah, I know. Probably works. So we've had a great conversation so far about this meteor shower coming up. But John, just before we take the break at the bottom of the hour here, or at the 9 o'clock break, what got you involved with astronomy? Like you've done this since you were in high school.
Oh, I was 10 years old, actually. Dad said, let's go over to Tillman Nom's place. Tillman was a great orchardist here in Vancouver. He's up in Falkland area. I forget where it is now, where he lives.
He's up in Westwold.
Okay.
Or not Westwold. He's up just north of Vernon there.
Vernon, yes, yeah. Well, okay, so we went over to Tillman's place, and he had this beautiful refracting telescope, a 2.4-inch Unitron. This is 1953 or something. 53. And so he said, here, take a look at, see that star over there? Yeah, okay, well, take a look in the eyepiece. So I looked in the eyepiece, and I said, you've got a slide of a picture of Saturn here. He said, no, that's that star you're looking at there. And there was Saturn's rings, and I just And, I've read so many people who got into astronomy. It was that exact moment when they looked through a telescope and they saw the rings of Saturn, that was it. They had to get a telescope, and it just set them on their way. And that started me off, just like that.
That's fascinating because that's a great story, because when we went to Bermuda with the band, we were at one of the promoters, the person who hired us, at his home and around his swimming pool, and he was busy, so he said, just go out there and hang out. There's a telescope, have a look through there. And Bill found Saturn the rings of Saturn, and that's exactly it got us going there. Now we didn't dive into the hobby, but now I have a telescope, and of course Craig McCaw, who worked in the planetarium as well with you, and you've been childhood friends right through. He's an avid telescoper too.
For sure.
Yeah,
that's why we call him Dr. Bolide.
Yeah. He's such a great person and very talented. Played with the Poppy family. He was the guitar player for the Poppy family
and the Shadracks here in Kelowna.
And the Shadracks, back in the day. fascinating story, and it's just so great to have you here with us today. But don't forget, folks, it is a garden show, and if you have any gardening questions, we're here to answer those as well. But John we're gonna keep chatting a little bit about history of where he came from and what he did. I mean, he was in the thick of it in the 60s, emceeing a lot of shows by like Herman's Hermits and Jefferson Airplane and the Doors and that kind of thing in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, we were kept pretty busy when we were DJs, for sure. Yep. Yeah. But as you said, you're going to be looking down, and I'll be looking up.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and that brings the fact that we are going to hopefully, maybe tonight or tomorrow night, I can stay up late enough where it can get dark and we can have a peek through my telescope.
Yes, we'll definitely check it out. The moon will be fun to look at before it sets.
Right, and you can see things in the moon that you definitely don't see with the naked eye.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just a pair of binoculars, you can see so much, on the moon, and telescopes just increase it, seeing all the craters. And this is a good time to look at the moon because it's in its, working its way to full moon. You get all the craters along the terminator where the dark and meet and the light meet. So the angle of the sun is such that you can see mountain peaks. And, it's a gorgeous sight, the moon. It's the closest to us, so we get the best views, right?
Yeah. So looking at the moon when it's a partial moon is better than looking at the full moon,
right? Because the full moon, the sun's shining directly on it. It's just can't see.
Blurry almost.
Yeah, it's very bright too. Yeah. But when you get crescent phases up to first quarter and slightly into gibbous, you get all these craters along the terminator that stick up and are above into the dark areas and that. It's just so fascinating, the moon.
And one of the things that fascinates me, last year we tried to get it back to you. You left your sun gazer, and it's basically a welding...
welder's glass number 7.
Number 7 welder's glass.
Right.
And make sure you get that back to you this trip. You can actually look right into the sun and see sunspots.
Oh, and there's a huge sunspot. Now, anyone can see the sunspot without a viewer. Just go to spaceweather.com and take a look at the huge... There's a sunspot that's bigger than Jupiter, right in almost the center of the sun right now. And with special filter, you can see those with your welder's glass or a solar viewer. And that's why we're getting so much aurora, because the sun maximum is happening right now with the maximum number of sunspots and storms, and that's why we're getting more coronal mass ejections from these explosions heading our way and causing northern lights. So, yes, it's
amazing.
Very exciting.
The power. No wonder over the years, John, that people would worship the sun.
Of course. It's a main source of light and power and warmth.
It's amazing. And I know that when I was visiting Craig McCaw, he has a telescope in his backyard, nice big one, and he has a filter that you can actually look through right into the sun safely. Please, folks, don't start looking at the sun without proper instructions.
Right. You need your hydrogen alpha filter or some special filters so you don't damage those eyes. Yes.
Or your telescope.
Right. We don't want you gardeners not to be able to see what's happening in the garden.
That's right. But it's an amazing thing, and what a fine hobby it is. And we have here up on Highway 33. There's a place that you can go. There's a club, I think, that they do up there, right? Did you go last year?
I can't give you any information on that. I'm sorry. Yeah. I've heard about them, but I can't give you details.
Yeah. Maybe somebody.
If Craig was here, he'd know right away.
Yeah. But, maybe there's somebody out there with some info on that. We're getting close to the bottom of the hour. We do invite your calls, though. This is what the garden show is all about. I always say, if there ain't no audience, there ain't no show, just like Chilliwack used to say. And 250-862-2525 to get through here today, and 1-888-780-4273 if you're calling from out of town, out of the Kelowna listening area. It's a free call. And so John, it's great to have you here. You're going to be here for the next hour, and we'll hang out. We also are going to give Barry a call right at the break here, Barry in Victoria, because the Dahlia Society is putting on a function, an event, and we want to talk about that because that's important. Dahlia time coming up. It's going to be. It's a show. It's a Dahlia show. And while we're talking to Barry, maybe we'll get a few hints on how to store your dahlias as we come into the fall. And that's what we'll do then. And we've got all sorts of things to talk about, too. I've got a list of things. If we run out of something to say, we always have a list of things to talk about. Gardening can go on and on and on. And that's why the show has been on the air since 1983, which is this is in fact our 1920th show, 1960th show right here. Wow. Today, 1960. Next May 25th will be our 2000th show. We're going to be back with the Garden Show after this short break. Well, we have the honor of having Barry joining us from the Dahlia Society in Victoria. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning, Don. How are you this fine morning?
We are well, and how has the show been this year as far as the Dahlia show in Victoria?
Well, it's coming up next weekend at the Prospect Lake Hall, which is at 5358 Spartan Road, just off West Sandwich Road, which most people in Victoria know where West Sandwich Road is. We're open to the public on Saturday from 1 till 4, and on Sunday from 12 to 4. And it's a showing of all of the best dahlias that people right now or next weekend will have that they want to show and show off to the public. And last year, I think we had something like 500 entries.
My goodness!
So it's quite a good sized show, and also like to put a plug in for Nanaimo. And Nanaimo also has a Dahlia Society, and their show is the week after ours on a Saturday and Sunday at the Country Club Mall in Nanaimo.
You know, I got my drool cup on because I wish I was there. That would be an amazing thing. I've never been to a pure Dahlia show ever. I've been to orchid, I've been to bonsai events and displays, but I've never and dahlias. There's something about a dahlia, whether it's the tiny little single flowered dahlia or the big huge guys, the cactus flowered ones that you see. There's something about the form and colors of the dahlia and the foliage. The foliage is very cool too.
You know, we in North America, we show our flowers, dahlia flowers, with leaves. In most of the British Empire, they do it just with flowers alone. Vancouver actually was part of that showing style when I first started showing dahlias way back in the early 80s. And then they converted to the American system, and Victoria was part of that as well. So we show with flowers and stems, and they all get evaluated when they're being judged. We have about 8 judging teams made up of about 3 or 4 people, and we evaluate all these 500 entries and end up picking the best of the best.
Wow! Yeah, just like the Olympics, the Dahlia Olympics.
Well, it's our big show. Other than we do have a Dahlia tuber sale in the spring, but this is the biggest event we do every year. So
lots of fun. You know, I'm going to have to make a point of getting to Victoria and doing some touring around and maybe go during one of these events because, boy, they do it up right. I mean, Victoria is the Garden City,
yes, it is.
It's an amazing place. When I have been to Victoria and on the island just a couple of summers ago, I went to the Comox Valley nurseries. I'm a big succulent guy, you know. I just love my succulents, and they do a wonderful job there in Comox with succulents. And just driving down the island to Victoria, seeing the gardens and whatnot, people are really avid gardeners. A lot of avid gardeners there, and it's just a beautiful spot. Unique in the world, really.
It's well, the northwest part of the north and southwest part of Canada Canada, but the northwest part of the United States is a prime growing area for dahlias.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a number of shows. Actually, the Labor Day weekend, I believe there's a national show coming up in Wenatchee.
Mm-hmm. So
if anybody's down in the States in Washington, they could take that in as well. So that's a very, very large show. So growers from all over the U.S. and Canada.
And Barry, who is generally the breeders of dahlias? I mean, I know there was a couple of places in Vancouver that we used to buy wholesale. Something Gardens.
There's one place in Mission.
Yes.
And that was doing some. They still are in business.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the main one that I'm aware of in British Columbia. But there's a number of large ones in the States.
Right.
Swan Island dahlias in Oregon is a big one, probably the biggest one in the U.S. But there's a lot of the propagation or the hybridization is done just by backyard gardeners. Some of them a bit more than just backyard gardeners,
right.
but that's
yeah. I know.
Some of them are growing 10,000 seedlings every year to try and get a few good ones.
Oh my goodness! Well, it reminds me of our good friends in Kelowna here that had the lilies, the breeding of the lilies, and getting some very, very interesting things. Both of these gentlemen have passed away now. Very quickly, where is it, and when is it, and what is it, and then we're going to have to leave you.
Okay, it's August 17th and 18th. Saturday next week, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., or Sunday, 12 noon to 4 p.m. at the Prospect Lake Hall, which is just off of West Sandwich Road on 5358 Spartan Road, for those that have a GPS.
And anybody listening that is Nanaimo-ish, the following.
It's a country club mall, and it would be the weekend after ours, it would be I wrote down here, August 24th and 25th.
Perfect.
And they're in a mall, so you can go in there anytime, I suspect, whereas we're in a hall, so we have to control the number of people coming in depending on the numbers that show up.
You bet. You got metal detectors at the front? No, I just...
No, they were not that serious concern. I don't think anybody would want to take us out. But.
That's right. Look at, Barry, we want to get you on later on when it's time to put the dahlias to bed, and we will get you on and have some fun with that.
I'll be glad to do that for you, Don.
Okay, Barry.
Thanks again.
Thank you, sir. Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Yeah, that's a lot of fun to talk dahlias. We've got Sandy calling in from Victoria. Sandy, good morning.
Good morning. I'm not complaining about anything. I just want to give you some information.
Sure.
The business about the deer. The Ministry of Environment here used to send out a brochure on how to build a deer-proof fence. And it would say be about 5 feet tall, just a straight, flat fence across the top. But when it got to the top, there was another panel, and we'll say that was about 2 feet of wire mesh, and it was sloping out. It was from the top of the fence, so that when the deer were on the outside of your fence looking up, well, all they saw was this piece of mesh, a fence sloping over their heads, so they couldn't do it.
Fantastic information. A little slope out.
Yes.
But you wouldn't want anything that was, if the deer did try, that's one of the concerns, of course, is entangling the deer in anything, too. People have to be a little bit careful there.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure I would ask them, but I'm sure they wouldn't send anything else.
No. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, because there are laws about cruelty to deer or animals, and do not spray them with chemicals.
Well, this isn't a chemical that she was using, the Bobex. It's just a mixture of spices and herbs and peppers and things like that. It wouldn't hurt them. I mean, I actually don't mind the smell of Bobex, but yeah, it's not a chemical.
Well, I had them living in my garden. My cat had an outdoor run, wire mesh off the side of the house. And I was always watching because I never quite trust those animals. They came right up to him at this wire mesh fence, put their noses down. He stood on his hind legs, and they would touch noses through the wire mesh, and then the deer would lie down beside him on the outside of the fence. He'd lie down on the inside, and they'd all go to sleep.
It's so interesting to see that interaction between species, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is lovely, lovely. Well, Sandy, we appreciate your call and appreciate that information. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, dear. Okay,
bye.
Bye-bye now. And we've got John calling in from Peachland. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Don.
Hey.
I thought I was another person ahead of me, but anyways, I'm calling about my tomatoes. I got a fantastic crop of tomatoes, but I looked up in the internet and I have a yellow shoulder on these tomatoes.
Yellow shoulder. That's something I've seen, but I don't know too much about it.
It's almost like a core. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got and it's really, coarse, chewy kind of a core in there. Yellow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what does it say about that? Have you done any research?
It's saying a lack of potassium.
Mm-hmm.
And I put some bananas and peels in water and stuff, and I haven't tried it yet. But I think it's too late to do that. I think you have to get it earlier.
Yeah, in the development stage. But it's interesting because that's why I don't know too much about that, because the Okanagan generally has lots of potassium. In general, the potassium has never been, lack of potassium hasn't been an issue here. But certain areas, of course, you're going to have different soil conditions. So maybe out in Peachland, in your neck of the woods, that is probably a problem. And so I appreciate that. I'm going to do a little research on it as well, John, because I have seen it, but I haven't had a big issue. Most issue we have here is blossom end rot, and of course also scalding from the sun, turning the tomato white because of our hot sun that we get. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and there was something about magnesium, too, that too much magnesium might cancel the effect of the potassium, I think.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
I'm not sure there's if I have to add potassium or what. Yeah. I guess.
Well, let's do I'll do a little research for you and see what we got going there and see if I can help you. Maybe you want to email me, send me a text or email me some pictures, if you can. Mm-hmm. Text or email me some pictures, and then we go from there, and I'll communicate with you, and then we'll talk about it on the air again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, John, appreciate the call.
One more quick question.
Yep.
My dahlias, in the pots, I guess the heat, they just didn't like it, and they all sort of died back. Mm-hmm. But the ones in the ground were fine. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, my tip of the week last week was wrapping your containers, black nursery containers, with gunny sack. Don Stoltz does that with various plants that he grows in the backyard, and has fantastic results, peppers, tomatoes, and everything. So I'm going to try that next year and do that. We're going to have to take a break, John. It's time for a break, but we appreciate your call.
Thank you very much, Don.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care. We'll take that break now. We'll be back with The Garden Show after this short break. Yeah, we're back, and I've got with me John Tanner. Always a pleasure, John, having you here each summer when you come to visit, you and Fran, good friends, and you're hanging out in our backyard around the plants and the patio, and just relaxing and having a wonderful break. You are retired now, right?
I'm retired.
Yes, because retired. you worked well up into past retirement age, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you feel up to it, keep going.
Yeah.
Because too many people have to retire and then they sit around. What am I going to do with myself? You got to keep active and keep exercising. So
right.
That's
you
important.
do that. You get up in the morning and you go for a ride and you do the pool thing, do some swimming. Let's get back into this wonderful hobby of yours, the astronomy, and tell us a little bit more about how we're going to see this event.
Well, in taking me back to when I was a little younger, we would really prepare for these meteor showers. And you want to be, if you're going to be out there late, you know that Okanagan nights can be cool. So make sure you've got warm clothes, if you like coffee, whatever, for a stimulant to keep you going through the night. Have something you can lean back on, like deck chairs or something, because obviously you're going to be looking up. And if you're sitting in a chair and you're going to get a crick in your neck, so you want to be very comfortable.
So you want to lean back.
Yeah. If you're going to spend a few hours out there looking up at the sky, then you want to be comfortable. So comfortable and warm, that's important. And where to look for these things? Well, the meteors appear to radiate from a certain constellation, which is Perseus, and that's why they're called the Perseids. So the Perseus is, if you know the Big Dipper and Cassiopeia, those are the two main constellations that we see all year round. They're circumpolar. Cassiopeia looks like a big letter W. So just below the W is where Perseus is, and so that's the northeast where it rises. So the meteors will appear to come from the northeast, but they can be seen anywhere in the sky. Back in the day when we were in the Royal Astronomical Society, we would have little groups of people, of 4. So we'd all be facing in the same direction with our feet pointing to one another. So I would be looking east, and someone else would be looking north and south and west. Right. So you'd have a view of all the 4 quadrants of the sky. Right. When the RASC, we would have a little shortwave radio going with the time, so we'd know exactly what the time was. And then when someone saw a meteor in their quadrant, they'd say time, and that would be recorded, and then you count it up at the end to see how many meteors you actually did see. You're obviously not going to get that devout unless you are doing a project like that. But you want to be comfortable. You want to be able to look up without getting a crick in your neck, and you want to be able to look at different quadrants of the sky, because they can appear just about anywhere. They can be shooting through Cassiopeia, through the Dipper, appearing north, south, east, or west, all the 4 cardinal points across the sky. Some may be very bright, and those are the ones that are more peanut size, as I mentioned. And the smaller grains of sand will be the smaller ones and not so bright. So that's the way it works. You may only see 50 meteors an hour. You may not even see that many. Sometimes you don't see them every minute. You might just see them every few minutes or every 5 minutes. You can never predict these.
And they don't last very long.
They don't know. It's a swoosh, yeah.
And that's what a falling star is?
Yeah, catch a falling star, put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's small enough to put in your pocket, but it's glowing. It's being heated up by the atmosphere of the Earth.
And it's toast after that.
And, but it doesn't disappear because it's not a big ball of fire. It's heating up and glowing as it warms up, and bits and pieces fall off. And a lot of meteor dust doesn't disappear or burn up. It floats around up there, and it causes something called noctilucent clouds. And these clouds they usually are about half an hour, 40 minutes after sunset. We don't often see them here, but if you go to spaceweather.com, you'll get all the information you need to know. They'll have a map showing where the noctilucent clouds are, because the sun shining on these clouds make a kind of electric blue cloud in the sky. Very rarely do you see them here. Mostly over in Europe, Iceland, Norway, and those areas, and Scotland, and so on. But these are bits of meteor dust up there. Nevertheless, the meteor shower you'll be looking for tonight. Sorry, not tonight. It's tomorrow night. It's the Sunday night. And as soon as it starts to get dark, preferably after midnight when the moon sets, and then until early hours of the morning, probably peaking between 2 and sunrise, when it gets late. And then again on Monday night, the 12th, another chance when it first comes dark in the evening to the early hours of the night, you may see meteors too.
We're going to have to go to the phone lines. This is a call-in show, John.
It is.
I know.
Yes.
And we've got our friend Addie joining us. Addie, are you taking all of this in? Are you going to be out there at 2 o'clock?
My eyes have glazed over.
There you go.
I'd have to go to the Penticton Observatory to find all that out, but which I have been to a couple of times, so it's not new to me. But the grandkids don't want to go this year, so they're getting to the age where it's not important to them anymore, or not exciting.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, I've got a grape that I planted about 2 years ago. Actually, I planted 2 of them, one on one side of the house and one on the other side of the house. The one that's up against the wall is not doing anything at all. It's got no new foliage. It hasn't done anything this year. Is it because it's not getting any air circulation?
This is a grape that has no foliage on it?
Well, it's got foliage on it, but no new foliage.
It's not growing.
Yeah, not growing at all.
Not pushing.
Yeah.
Well, something's happening there. The vascular system in the grape is not performing the way it should. So it budded out, but it's just not putting any extension.
Exactly.
Well, you got something, that's something going on that may be more problematic than, have you got anything coming up at the base, Addie?
No.
Nothing. Huh.
Nothing. It's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. And I'm wondering if it's because it's up against the wall and it's up against the east wall. Mm-hmm. And so it gets the sun till about 11:30. And it doesn't, the one that I planted on the other side of the house, which is up against the railing, is doing quite well. It's got new shoots coming up all the time, or new leaves coming up all the time. But
do you know the variety of the one that's not doing well?
I have no idea. No,
yeah. Because I'm going to chalk it up to that January freeze. That you've burnt, you've frozen some of the vascular system of the grape, and it's just not functioning properly. Interesting, though, if that's the case, you should have seen something coming up at the base. But when you don't see anything happening on it, it's hard to say. I think it's a matter of waiting, Addie. I don't think there's anything you can press here. I think you just got to wait and see what's going on. It may be damaged. What I'm hoping is that it will start pushing a new growth from the base. If it doesn't grow, if it doesn't start pushing generally on the plant, then you may want to cut it right back next spring and see if it doesn't push up at the base. There's not much else I can say there.
Yeah, because it's only about 3 feet tall. It's not very tall. It's done nothing this year.
Yeah, a young one. It's a young grape then.
Yeah, it is. And I was just wondering if I should maybe dig around there and put some fertilizer down or something to give it a little bit of help. Or
well, fertilizer's not going to create new growth unless there's good foliage on it to begin with.
Well, there is good foliage.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe you might want. I'll tell you what you might want to do is take some of your triple 20, and put it in a gallon, tablespoon in a gallon, and spray that foliage. That's called foliar feeding, and that might start stimulating something.
Oh,
because I'm thinking the root's not working properly because it's not pushing at the base. So try do the foliar feeding.
Okay, so and I was thinking maybe it's because it's up against the wall and it's just not getting good air circulation, or
they're pretty. Grapes are pretty prolific. They that wouldn't bother them being up against a wall by any means.
How much watering should I be doing on it? Should I be watering it a lot or not as much at all?
Well, they can stand once a grapevine is established. They don't need heavy irrigation, but they do. They're not a desert plant. They do need moisture. So when you do water them, give them a good soaking deep, and then let them go for a week or so, and then another good soaking.
Oh, okay. Because I've been watering about every third day, so I'm just wondering if it's.
You might be stifling it with too much water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The other question that I have is when I premix my 20-20-20, if I leave it overnight, does it lose its goodness?
No, no. Once it's mixed up, where you're losing your goodness is if you keep the package exposed to the air. You want to keep your triple 20 powder sealed off.
Yeah.
So the nitrogen doesn't dissipate. But once you've got it mixed in water, you're stable. Okay?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate the call. We're at the bottom of the hour. We're going to have to take a short break, and we do have our next caller is Gabriella, and we'll talk to her when we come back with more of The Garden Show. You betcha. We are back with you on a sunny day in the Okanagan, and hopefully the clouds don't cover up our meteor shower in the next couple of days, because that's going to be fun to watch. We do have Gabriella on the line. Good morning, Gabriella.
Good morning. I have two questions. Mm-hmm. One is regarding a tomato. We have beautiful orange, almost red tomatoes, and it seems that the skin is not enough to cover the tomato, and at the bottom it starts to develop like green or yellow color. And my friend here says that the tomato is not eatable because of that. So this is the first question, why it happens and if the tomato could be eatable or not. The second question is about Russian kale. I noticed that at the back of the leaf, there is a kind of eye and a little amount of powder around that eye. Again, I want to know what to do and if the leaf will be eatable or not because of that.
And this is kale? Kale?
Russian kale.
Russian kale.
It's different than the other kale that we have in the past, yeah. And it's a kind of eye, only one in a leaf, not many in the single leaf, and a kind of little powder purple color around that eye. And that Russian kale develops a purple color stem when it's bigger, and the taste is beautiful. It's very delicious. It's almost like lettuce.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry to have this issue in the leaves now.
Right. Well, you know what? Both those issues, Gabriella, you know where I live. You might want to bring me some samples so I can really pin it down for you. But I think with the tomatoes, you might have blossom end rot, which is a calcium deficiency. But if you bring me those samples, I will be able to help you a lot better than sort of stabbing in the dark over the air here. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, dear. Thanks for the call. Much. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye now. John, back to the wonderful shower that we've got coming up here. You've had a couple of notes there. You want to carry on with some of that?
Well, I just want people basically to know that don't expect to see like raindrops from the sky, meteors, because you just never know, right?
Yeah.
But they say you can see up to 100 meteors an hour if ideal conditions, if you're away from city lights, and there's no moon in the sky. So after the moon sets on Sunday night, around midnight, to the early hours of the morning, if you care to stay up overnight. If you have to go to work the next day, that may not work so well. So the night of the Sunday night, the 11th, and the morning of the 12th, and then the next night, Monday night, early in the evening through up to midnight or early hours of the following morning, the 13th, you may see meteors too over those 2 nights. So it's just fun. It's nice to get out, look up at the sky. You get the freedom of looking around and seeing what's up there.
It's mesmerizing. There's
sporadic meteors, but if they appear to come from the northeast, you know that they're a Perseid meteor, and so all you can do is just get out there and enjoy it. If you have a telescope, well, you might want to peek at the moon before it goes down. Start looking for Venus. It'll be our evening star. It is already in the evening sky, but it's still in the twilight. And you've got a big mountain across the lake there, so it may block that for a few months. But in the months ahead, up to January, you should see a brilliant star in the west, and that'll be Venus.
Well, going from a grain of sand or a peanut to the asteroid that knocked off the dinosaurs back in the day. Now, that's a proven fact, isn't it, that asteroid came in?
Yeah, we're pretty sure. We know where it landed. They've calculated the time it happened, so it's pretty assured that that's what caused the demise of the dinosaurs. Mind you, there were a lot of volcanoes happening back then, too, and so that's another thing, But as far as astronomy is concerned, we're constantly learning new things about the universe now with the James Webb telescope. Hubble is still working well, and numerous other telescopes are being built on Earth. Some huge telescopes are working on, especially down in Chile and around the world. And units of radio telescopes that will be tied together for a worldwide web to be able to look further into space. But we're just talking about little bits of dust that are falling into our atmosphere, and it happens numerous times during the year. But the Perseids is one of the biggest ones. There's a bigger one in the winter time, but it's a bit usually chilly to be out there looking at meteors on a cold below zero night.
Right.
So that's why it's a perfect time for people in the summer to be able to just enjoy them for what they are.
So on a regular night, you're just out there looking and there's a falling star. That's the same thing, a little grain of sand coming down?
Yeah, just a sporadic piece of debris that is pulled in by the gravity of the Earth and is heated up until it incandesces, and we can see it as a meteor. or a shooting star, as people like to call them.
And there have been recently. There was a big asteroid or something that hit Russia or up in the the backcountry there.
Right. Yeah, that was a small asteroid. What came down then, and they're still hitting the Earth now and then. There's a lot of NEOs, near Earth objects, and some we don't even know about that they're discovering. As we look, because there's new telescopes that use infrared, and we were able to see a lot of these unknowns out there that could be threatening the Earth in the future, and it's good to know that they at least are trying to monitor those sort of things.
So on the moon, when you're looking at the moon, and it's packed full of
craters. Yes.
Why is it full of craters and Earth isn't?
Well, the Earth has a lot of craters on it, too, and we're discovering more of those with the new radar systems looking through. But we've got, through the jungles, and we've got a lot going on in the Earth here. We've got wind and lots of erosion.
Right.
So these things get worn down, and we can't see them. But the moon, there's no air there. So, of course, a meteor hits there, an asteroid hits there. It's going to stay there for thousands of millions of years. Those craters are going to exist, where on the Earth they eventually get worn away by erosion and just the Earth itself, So they're out there on the Earth, but the moon definitely was a shield for asteroids, and a lot of them hit the Earth. Interesting to note that it's the face of the Earth, the moon, that faces the Earth, because we keep the same face faces us all the time. The far side of the moon actually doesn't have as many. It has lots of craters, but doesn't have those maria, or seas, and those are before the big asteroids hit the moon. So it's the side that faces the Earth that has most of the large oceans, or maria, where a lot of lava came up from impacts and just the internals of the moon itself.
Was the moon at one time hot?
Oh, yeah. It was a piece of molten, that we think it was a planet or some object the size of Mars that hit the Earth that knocked the moon off of pieces of the Earth out into space and eventually formed the moon. But we're still learning things about this. I mean, astronomy isn't constant. Like anything else in science, we're constantly learning. And newer telescopes and technologies, we're learning more and more things. But I highly recommend your listeners to check out the website spaceweather.com. It has all that information about when you might see a northern lights, and tells you about meteor showers, gives you pictures of the sun, lets you know when the aurora is happening, and it gives you all that information. It's right at your fingertips.
Spaceweather.com.
Spaceweather.com.
Fabulous. It really brings to light just the tininess we are, the very small. And you mentioned something when we were talking about tips of the week, and that you had one.
Well, right, because like Carl Sagan called the Earth a small blue dot, a pale blue dot in the cosmos, and I think that came up when he saw a picture of the Earth taken with one of the Voyager spacecrafts heading out past Saturn, and there was a picture through its rings. You could just see this little pale little blue dot, and that's all we are. We're just this little tiny speck in the cosmos, and a small planet it is compared to planets. We're finding out exoplanets out there, and there's over 5,000 we've discovered so far. There's lots of them way bigger than the Earth. And so, the question comes to mind, why is this small blue dot so angry? Why are people, so angry with one another that they can't even survive together without, fighting with one another? Exactly. Are we going to destroy the planet, or are we going to destroy ourselves before? Because the planet's not going to go away, but maybe Homo sapiens will, the way we're headed now. So, it just makes you feel like, wow, this is our home, our little island in space, and we have to protect it, for the
plants.
You're dealing with the plants, the gardens, we want this to continue, so we just pray for peace and just keep our eye on the sky.
Yeah, that's right. John, it's so great having you here. We've got 15 minutes left. If you've got a gardening question, give us a call. Or if you have any questions for John Tanner, he's very knowledgeable about all things space and astronomy. 250-862-2525 to get through to us. 1-888-780-4273 if you're calling from out of town or anywhere listening online. We'll be back with the Garden Show for our last segment after this short break. We are back with you. Had a great weekend with musicians Bill Campbell from Toronto, Peter Patton from Vernon, Michael Garding from West Kelowna, and Lee Morin from Vancouver. We had a great time in our backyard having for 2 nights. We jammed and had a wonderful time. I want to remind people that my good friend Gerald DeHaze is presenting his movie Gene at the Rotary Center of the Arts, Mary Irwin Theater. Gene is a book Jerry wrote years ago, and he, in the last 3 years, has created this wonderful movie of the story. And the story is of a young man who has a tragic accident and becomes paralyzed, his total body paralyzed. And it's a story of how he copes with this and how he gets through it. And it's a surprise ending, I'll tell you, and it is a really cool thing to listen to and to watch. I've seen it a couple of times. It's going to happen, it's on August the 17th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., and no, that's not that. That's the annual flower show. I got to find Jerry's thing. Jerry, here it is, the Canadian premiere of Gene. I got all mixed up. An animated film written and produced by Kelowna author Gerald DeHaze, and it is happening at, I haven't got the detail on that. I will get the detail. Why do I not have the detail on that? It's happening at the Mary Irwin Theater on August the 21st, I think. I knew. That's awful that I don't remember that, because he's my good buddy, and I'm going to have, actually maybe next week, I'm going to have both he and Tony Conan on the air, and we'll talk more in depth about it, and it'll be fun to have them here. They are both 2 talented guys. Tony did the music, and Jerry DeHaze wrote the book, and he did the animation in the movie, so it's quite fascinating to watch. John Tanner is with us, and we've got one caller coming in, so we're going to have to do that. We're going to answer the Lily is on the air with us. Good morning, Lily. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, good morning. First of all, I enjoy your show and watch it whenever possible. I'm the lady with the geranium, the kind of climb. Mine is now about 6 feet tall, 116 blooms on it. I wonder what yours is doing, the slips I gave you.
They grew, but they haven't done what yours is doing.
Oh, no, this took a few years.
Oh, I see. Okay. They're fine. I got them to root, and I have them in pots.
Yeah. Great.
And how tall is yours now?
One question. The flowers in the containers for the city on the roads, on the highways, do you know the name of what flowers they are?
The city of Kelowna flower, the petunias?
Yeah.
I don't know the name, and I talked to the gentleman that works with the city and grows those. He says, if I gave you the name, I'd have to kill you.
Oh, that's a secret.
It's a secret. It's his secret. Aren't they beautiful? I mean, they just keep blooming and blooming, blooming. Nobody deadheads them, and they just keep blooming their heads off.
That's I heard they fertilize them every day, though. They put a little bit in the water when they feed them.
Oh, yes.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I guess I'll have to...
Well, Lily, I want you to give me a call at home because I want to come and see that geranium.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the book. I'm actually still in the book, and I still read the newspaper every day.
Yeah. And I know where you live because I used to live there on Wyatt Road.
Oh, yes.
So, and I've seen you over at the park there a few times. So, yeah, I will get that to you.
Yeah, I'd like to find out where you live because I'd like to come and take a picture of that geranium.
Yeah.
Okay, dear.
You can come anytime. Just give me a call. You've got a number there, right?
No, you call me to remind me because I'm old.
I'm old too. But I've been gardening for at least 70 years.
Wow.
And we've got a terrific little garden that we started here. We moved here only 4 years ago, and we have so many things that we give away already, tomatoes and all kinds of stuff. And it's a beautiful little garden.
Well, I'd love to see it. Give me a shout, and we'll hook up.
Okay.
Okay, dear.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, bye.
Bye-bye now. Yeah, Lily's got geraniums that grow tall, and nowadays all the geraniums are bred to stay mounding and small. And the old days, we used to have these tall geraniums, and I really want to get involved with that because brings back. We used to have one called Radio Red and Mrs. Taylor and all these different old varieties. And what happened, John, is that back in the 70s and actually in the 60s, there was a bad virus that got into the geraniums, and it almost wiped out the geranium thing. So now on the Canary Islands and down in the Caribbean on an island, they produce these virus-free clones, and then they send them out to the growers, and the growers won't keep rooting their own geraniums because of this virus thing. So it's a fascinating story, the geranium story. John, we're going to have to close her down here pretty quick, but so you are doing some traveling now. I've seen some of the traveling that you've been doing on Facebook and enjoying that part of your life. On the other aspect of it, the astronomy part, do you keep studying? Is that something you just keep working on? Is that still a hobby of yours, or?
Oh yeah, you can't. I mean, it happens. It's so much going on, especially now with the internet. Of course, you can find out just about anything you want about anything you want to find out about. So astronomy is just growing in leaps and bounds. As I say, observatories being built all over the world. We're reaching further out into space. James Webb is, I'm sure you've been following the photographs, just mind-blowing, really. So, yeah, no, it's a hobby I'll always have, but, as you get older, you just sort of lay back.
There's a lot more tools now than there were when you were 10 years old at Tillman Noms.
And I don't, true.
Yeah.
And I'm not up half the night, I like a good night's sleep, so I don't spend as much time observing as perhaps I should, but, we've got those under our wing, and now we're just enjoying life, and it's just great to come up to the Okanagan. It's a shock to see all the houses on the mountaintops, though. Soon we won't
and
be able
skyscrapers.
Yeah, really, the skyscrapers. Soon we won't be able to see any trees on Knox or Dilworth. It'll be totally built up. But.
Yeah, that's right. I mentioned my buddy Jerry, who's putting on this his movie Gene coming up. Jerry and I have a memory that we share. We were both 14 years old. And we were standing, it was after school in the middle of winter, so it was quite dark. And we're looking up at the sky, trying to see the immensity of the sky and all the stars and everything. It was mind-boggling to us. And we said, what are we going to do in life? We had that conversation. Wonder what we're going to be. Where are we going? Are we going to last a while? We were really contemplating that. And that's what the sky did to us. That's what the sky... It just made us feel so small in a way, but also really important,
It's an inspiration for sure, And now's a good time, as I say, to check out if there's any northern lights coming your way, because the Okanagan is a great place for observing them. And over this weekend, while you're out watching meteors, you may just see some aurora borealis too. So
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Magnetism and plasma and all that stuff is amazing. And that's where all the science and the electricity and all that came from, is the fact that we are a big magnet.
We are. The Earth is a giant magnet. And the sun even bigger. So, yes.
We've only got about 30 seconds left here. Is there going to be a reversal of the magnetic poles?
Of the earth, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's a gradual thing. It's not like it's going to just happen, bingo, and there's going to be a catastrophe.
Okay. I just heard something about that.
No. It's Mother Nature will take care of us, hopefully, but we got to take care of Mother Nature, and we have to treat the earth with respect, and that's
you betcha. On that note, that's a fine note to end on. We're going to start the tips and plants of the week now. Okay, well, my tip of the week is to make sure that you are getting rid of your annual weeds. Cut them off at least. Don't let them go to seed, because 1 year's seeding is 7 years weeding. And my plant of the week is the hydrangea, Paniculata grandiflora, or the PG hydrangea. There's many different varieties out there now, but this good old-fashioned PG hydrangea that I saw, took a picture of yesterday, made me make it my plant of the week. It's a fabulous plant. This thing here is 8 feet tall and 8 feet wide. It's just amazing. Dr. Shigo, we're going to have his quote of the week. Dr. Shigo is the father of modern arboriculture. Before Dr. Shigo came along, a lot of disease issues and that in trees they didn't know about, and he discovered all that type of thing, including the coded method of finding out what disease is. This is his quote of the week this week. New ideas and new babies need some cleaning before their beauty shows. That is Shigo's tip of the week. We're going to say goodbye and see you next week with more of The Garden Show.